Hello, I am Robert Milby, Robert the Dungeon Master, whatever you wish to call me. I'm going to be remaking this video because the old files that I had got corrupted and lost, and I gotta remake it. So, this is the reintroduction to the Elemental Wars D&D series, slash the world that I created. Elemental Wars is a D&D campaign that I have written up. Like right here, when I say handwritten, it's more of the pages are over there because I've been throwing them over here when I'm finished with them. But anyway, sorry my chair's squeaky. I have no budget. So anyway, it's a homebrew campaign in a homebrew world, and I'm gonna go in this video. I'm gonna be explaining what the homebrew world is, a couple home set rules that I have. I do things a little differently because standard's boring in my opinion. And yeah, I don't like normal stuff. So this is the world map per se. You can tell it's obviously drawn by me, very badly drawn. So you have each of these continents. These are like these two are by themselves. Like everybody groups these together. All the little circles are frickin' for trees, and all these little triangles are mountains, of course. Excuse me, ew. This So this continent right here, this is a giant land of undead that is literally like with a giant castle in the middle. It is in this world, this continent is ruled by a council of liches and vampires, mixed combo. Um Sometimes they throw a beholder in there. It varies however I want to run it and whatever time frame they're in. Um but yeah, this is a continent of undead. No normal people live here. It is this is the continent that is like, think of the Amazon rainforest. It is uncivilized. It's like there are tribes, but there's no government structures. Um, and this is a single mountain range that's known right here. This is a single mountain range that's known for dragons, powerful dragons resting there. Um, and the thing that protects this land from the horde of undead is these mountains, which are pretty impossible to pass. Very difficult. Undead have trouble getting across it. Across it. Um, these two mountains that are lumped. These two islands which are lumped together are really just, the mountains are full of a bunch of ruins, temples, and whatnot. The forest one is really a resort place. People go there to relax, hang out. There are a couple like temples there, but mostly the temples and stuff are on the sister island. Wow, I'm sorry. This right here is not an island per se. This is actually just a hole in the world. So the world is flat because flat Earth. Just kidding. But this is a waterfall that leads to the to the void, that and the world, like, ocean just flows into it. How does the world not run out of ocean? Find out in game. This is gonna be like your Antarctica per se. This is a marking that I had to show my players a couple years ago where they were. That's not important, but this is kind of like your Antarctica frosty place. There are tribes and civilizations there. There is a central council, but not every, like, it's not agreed upon by everybody. This right here is this is the snobby elf continent. That right there is where the main country of it is. It is surrounded by mountain ranges, and the inside is a forest. I know my drawing's very bad, but sorry. The I'm I do not have a name for this continent yet, and the country is Evanel, Evanel, Evanel. Um, and then this is the main continent. I have a better map of it right over here, with colors and whatnot. So it has like different countries. No Man's Land is kind of like, it's not a desert, but it's uninhabited area. Basically, the leaders of each of these countries said, "This is the area we're putting aside for the monster." I'm sorry, she's a freaking. I'm very sorry. But this area is basically where all the leaders of the main countries said, "We're putting the beast here. They can live free here, so we don't have to deal with them as much." So let's go through the main countries real quick. Starting down here is Dranananakan. It is going to be your home. This is going to be the continent to mostly. This is where Dragonborns mostly come from, or barbarian races. Very people who like to live in the mountains. Tridiraton is going to be your dwarven country. If you're not from Dranananakan, Tridiraton is the country for dwarves. A lot more sophisticated dwarves. The capital is right over here. The country, the continent, capital is called Ironhelm. Ugh. I cannot speak today. I'm very sorry. Yeah, but that's that country. Like, each of these numbers are important cities, but that was just for my players. The cities and players major cities change depending on where I feel like I want to have them for the campaign desired. It's very open world, a very loose open world. Noloi is going to be more of a desert place. It is the place for humans that are who like to be surrounded by humans, like the racist humans. Standard human shit. Lassifar is going to be your elven country. I did not draw the forest for this country, but most of this area is forest. The only forest I drew on this continent was the Dark Elf Forest, which is in the country of Marintha. If you know what that is, yes, I don't have creativity. Fight me. Really, nothing that fancy about this world in terms of geography. Oh, and there's this section of No Man's Land down here. It's not No Man's Land. These countries don't recognize it as a country, as its own country, so they declared it as No Man's Land, even though there is a ruling council there. But yeah, most important places to know are most important place to know that I always use in every campaign, it never changes because I'm uncreative, is this little dot right here. This is the Cheers for McLaren Tavern. It is yes, Cheers for McLaren from How I Met Your Mother. I am very, very uncreative. It is a tavern built specifically for adventurers to hang out and gather, so they know what they're dealing with. This forest was important because this is where the Underdark is located. Like, right over here is the entrance to the Underdark, and it presides over here. Plus, this is a very dark forest. Okay, yeah. This place over here does have its own special Underdark, but that is not really used through most campaigns. So yeah. Let's get on to the lore of the world, per se. So this world is called the Shattered Realms. This Elemental Wars, the book Elemental Wars is book 3 in the campaign series of this series, book 3 of the trilogy. I have the other 2 books right here. So, like, book 1, 2, and 3. Book 1 is Forgotten Memory, 2 is Midsummer Night's King, it's a play on words, and book 3 is Elemental Wars. long time ago, um, this world follows most of Forgotten Realms mythology with few minor tweaks. One of the biggest ones being Tiamat, the mother of dragons, goddess of dragon, you know what I mean. She was killed permanently. That's what started this whole world campaign idea for me. Uh, I was tired of like seeing different DMs just doing Tiamat, Rise of Tiamat, Horde of the Dragon Queen, stuff like that. So I was like, I'm gonna make a world without Tiamat. So that in this world lore, Tiamat has been killed permanently. A special weapon was made that can remove the existence of any entity beyond resurrection, and it was used on Tiamat. And there was a couple thousand year, I think I said 3,000 year war, and then finally a couple of the gods got together and said, "Look, we need to end this." Well, let me explain why the war happened. My bad. So Tiamat was killed, but the power that Tiamat had was still like left there. So you grab something off your shelf. The gap for where that was is still there, and it needs to be filled. So everybody was trying to look to fill that gap, which sparked war. Everybody wanted the power, yada yada yada. People started fighting. A couple thousand years of this fight go on. Mistress of Magic, Shar, the goddess of secrets and forgetfulness and shadows, and Oberon and Titania, and a couple of the other gods, which I'm not going to bring up because they're not that important in this scenario, got together and said, "Look, we need to stop this." And so they tried. They went to the god of memory, which is a custom made by me, homebrew god, Gnaa, Gnaa, and said, "Look, you're the god of memory. We want you to remove the memory of Tiamat." Gnaa, who protects memory and wants all memories to be, which thinks all memories are sacred, refused. And so the other gods jumped his ass. They ganked on him, and they stripped him of his power and removed the memory of Tiamat and spread his power through his items throughout the land. So maybe one day, when the world was ready, Tiamat could be born again. Nothing. Couple thousand years go by. Nothing really that important happens. Then a silly little adventure group meets Gnaa and decides to help him restore himself. He, through a lot of different adventures, which is campaign 1, which I will not spoil that much of, they renew Gnaa, and he restores the memory of Tiamat. This resumes the fighting. This time, everybody's fighting a lot more. Everybody's pissed off at the gods who removed the memory and stopped everything, and this war lasted for longer. Mistro went to the people who did it and said, "Look, he's locked himself in his realm where I cannot enter. You've got to go get him. I will open the back door for you, but you've got to go. I cannot enter to the back door because the way I have the world set up is all the realms. So you have the prime material realm, which is the connection of all the elemental realms. Aside from this, like on different planets, is the god realms. Each one has their own place. The gap in between all these realms is the void. The void is where the gods shove everything that they don't want to deal with away. So like the Tarrasque or the Aboleth or whatever you don't want to deal with goes in there. Think of it kind of like space, but locked. So she opened the portal for them. They went into the void and found the way to Gnaa's realm. Which he had sealed off, but if you're entering from the void, you can still get in. It's It was a special spell.
Okay, I was just checking.
So it was a special spell, basically. So block a plot, things happened. Judge me on my creativity, fight me, I don't care. They went through the forced memory because in his realm, every memory is a tree, and they went and fought him, used the weapon to kill him, kill Gana, and then they killed Gana. The realm opened. Mishra came in, took the power of Gna real quick, removed the memory of Tiamat, removed the memory of Gna, and rewarded the adventurers, whatnot. End of the day, end of the campaign, sure. Book 2. Um, Book 2 and Book 3, technically in the chronological sense, so it goes. So, Ancient History, Book 1, then it goes Book 2, Book 3 at the same like at kind of the same time. Well, they can go at the same time, but it can go 2-3 or 3-2, however you want. I want to run it. Anyway, so Book 2 and 3 are after the Great War here. So if any of the episodes you're confused about what I'm referring to as the Great War, this is what I mean. So Great War happens, everybody's fought. Now the realms themselves have gone through so much pressure that rifts in the plane have started opening. Like, you're walking down the street and suddenly, boom, there's a rift to the plane of fire, or boom, there's a rift to the plane of Fae. So, by the way, yes, cat right here. Anyway, I'm distracted myself. So, Book 2, Midsummer Night's King, is all about the Feywilds. Players travel to the Feywild, are greeted by a Fey being who's begging them to fix the Feywilds. Because while the Great War was happening, one of the Fey Lords, Corwin, who was the Lord of Magic, who presides over all magic ruling within the Feywilds, took the opportunity, because he didn't see that Oberon Titania where that could have king queen, and decided to boot them out and become the Emperor of Fae. So, Book 2, a Fae has come and begged the adventuring party to come help him restore the Feywilds, because, first off, Oberon Titania needed to be king and queen. Corwin, who, what he did to become the Emperor of Fae was he attached himself to the land, like, built, like, a strong connection, so he was pretty much one with the Feywilds. And then he broke a promise, per se. What happened was he promised to, adventuring party tried to stop him from becoming the emperor, but he promised them that no Fae would enter the prime material plane if he was emperor. They agreed, and so he became emperor, and he thought he had sealed off Fae. Well, nothing that didn't exactly go according to plan, because when all the rifts open up, Fae could enter. He couldn't stop all the rifts, so Fae flooded the prime material plane, thus breaking the promise. And if y'all know the story, how Fae work, if they break a promise, something bad happens. Most of the time it's death. Not entirely this time, since it's such a powerful Fae. So, second book 2 is them going through and restoring the Feywilds. I won't go into that much detail for that one because spoilers. Book 3, Elemental Wars. This campaign, it's really loose about what happens. I literally will roll the dice and find out what happens to the party. As you probably might have already seen in the previous videos, in this campaign, they go through and they encounter a bunch of different rifts of the plane, like to different planes, and they must seal them. mostly dealing with the elemental planes. I'm actually thinking about making a fourth book that deals with the celestial plane, the abyss, and then the and hell, the nine layers of hell. I might actually do that now. Not now, but anyway, this one deals with the elemental planes. So players will find different rifts, find the way to close them, get rewarded for what's them, whatnot, and it's really open world. I'm okay with a lot of stuff. So that's enough about lore per se. If y'all have any questions, like comments below, message me. I don't care. Let's go to rules. I follow 5th edition, 5e, whatever, with few minor tweaks. If you want to do anything special, ask me. I will ask you for something in return, like write me a backstory for it or something. Not like here's $20. No, like give me something creative, something good I can use. I love mixing in character backstories. So, I like one of my players. He is a fucking Bulbasaur because he wrote that good of a backstory. One of my players has a Grim Reaper. Is pretty much the Grim Reaper, but not as powerful. He keeps trying to be, but not as powerful. But you should like his backstory, like 3 pages and really fucking cool. So I let a lot of slide. Yeah, I'm really easygoing. Like I make a lot of shit up. I don't follow the rules. Are just there. They're there if I really need to get strict on my players. I use like traditional like stats and whatnot. I will give players things that can break these stats. Now, one of the things that I do that's really controversial that a lot of people don't enjoy that I do, like when they think about it, they love while playing it, but if they really think about it, it's not good. Is I do 2 action turns, and those actions can be used for anything. So, if you're a fighter who has extra attack, and you use your attack action, you get 2 attacks, right? Well, with the 2 action with anything goes actions, you can attack twice. You can use 2 attack actions and attack 4 times. But wait, if you have 2 extra attacks, that means, guess what? 6 attacks, 8 attacks. But wait, action surge, 12 attacks now. I do limit, like, you can only use 1 action surge per turn. I have my limits. So there's a max of 12 attacks per turn, and you have to hit every single one of them. And I know what you might be thinking. Damn, that's fucking busted. Yes and no. Sure. That is really dumb when it comes to damage. I stat my monsters accordingly. All my monster stats are built to fight my players. Now, in the most recent episode, I just got a fighter in, and I wasn't sure, like, I forgot that I had a fighter, so I didn't stat my monster accordingly, yada yada yada. If you actually watch the episodes, good job. I'm sorry, they're bland and boring. I don't know how to edit. I love recording, and I love playing D&D. People say they love my stuff. They say that I should record it. I just can't edit. Nor do I have the budget to pay somebody to edit. Like, I have plenty of friends who can. They just want moolah, and I don't have moolah. I have the floof. This is, like, the light is killing this cat, but there's a cat here, I promise. I'm not just petting the air. So, anyway. And yes, to answer probably another question you thought of, you do get to cast 2 spells per turn. That can be ridiculously busted sometimes. But also realize, if you use 2 spells per turn, you also will burn through your spells a lot quicker. But you also get to use 2 cantrips per turn, so it's a balance. Like, sure, you can attack 7 times per turn, but that also means the AC of my monsters are going to be higher. Or sure, you can cast 2 spells per turn, but you're also going to need to be careful about how many spells you use. So yeah. Covered lore. I covered my special rules. Like, I have a couple other rules, but you'll see throughout. I also will do, I also give my characters ridiculously busted magic items. I know I give them busted magic items. I give them to them. I know what I'm doing. Trust me, like, believe me, I know what I'm doing. Another thing I do, which I did not pull up, which I will pull up now. D&D feats. I have custom feats, which they're like a subclass per se. These feats: path of the weapon, you must follow 1, 2, 3, 4. You must get dual wielding, then you must get weapon master, then you must get flowing weapon, then excuse me, sorry. But get each one. And there are a couple of these. And yes, there is something here. That is a very special one. I guess I really shouldn't hide this now since it's a busted one. Just know that. And I can spell poison. Right. So yeah. These, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. They can be busted if you know what you're doing, but also remember, I stat my shit accordingly. I'm not going to just give my players busted stuff and then turn around and whine when they one-shot my boss. No, I'm going to turn around and say, this is not my final form. You know what I mean? Got my hair. So yeah, anyway, I am Robert the Dungeon Master. I hope you did actually watch all the way through this. I hope you kind of enjoyed it. I know it's a little bland. But I'll see y'all. I hope you guys actually enjoy my stuff. Please give me suggestions on what to do. If you want to edit for me for free, please. I suck at editing, so. Okay, peace out.